I am one knockout away from an opportunity at drawing $1 million mystery bounty. And I just found out it's not only one, but it's freaking two of them. There's a level of pressure that I'm not sure I felt before. I feel like I'm so close to life-changing sums of money that I can only think about what if? Like, what if I don't do it? What if this is all for nothing? What if I just leave here with the min cash? And it's almost laughable. I've played sports a lot of my life. I know what it's like to feel pressure. I usually flourish in that environment. I like to push myself to the edge, and I like to see myself come out a better person at the other side of the tunnel. Poker's a little different. There's scar tissue there. There's been some bad times, and there's been a lot of really great times. Today, I'm gonna promise myself one thing. I want to leave today happy. I want to leave today satisfied. I want to feel something. As cliche as that sounds, I just want to feel something. But either way, let's go play some poker, and let's talk some hands. So you scratch your seat. Let's do that. Okay, we're 226. Got it. So we're 226. We do have a couple players at the table covered, but we're coming back to, I think, 15 or 14 big blinds today. It's going to be 40K big blind. We're actually only going to have 13 big blinds. Anyways, it won't matter to me much. My goal is simple. I'm going to double up early. I'm going to double up again, and I'm going to have a massive stack. Just you wait. Let's go. We find it. So I try not to be a Debbie Downer. A lot of these dealers are first time dealing, but in the first 18 minutes of play, we've played 3 hands. And then our table broke. And now the clock is paused, so I don't really know what to do. We haven't played a hand yet. We had the pair blinds, so I think we're down to a little more than 400K. If the risk works out well.
All right, Mark, come join me on the stage. I still think we're in a pause, so we might hold up on this actual draw. But still come join me on the stage.
Just a matter of minutes into the day, things are popping off. So much so that within the first 10 minutes of the day 2, not only have I not played a meaningful hand, but I've also found out that one of the $1 million bounties have been pulled. That's pretty brutal, but there's still $250,000 bounty out there. There's still $1 million bounty out there, and there's still $1 million for the eventual first place winner. All that being said, I've got to focus up and I've got to win some hands. And this first hand is an important one. I didn't play a single meaningful hand. Yeah, the entire time I was at that first table, we weren't the first to break. We were like the 10th table to break, but still, you know, what the hell. About 30 minutes into my day 2, I finally get ready to play a hand, and it's a really interesting one. We have King 9 of spades from early position, and I'm sitting on 410,000, which is exactly 10 big blinds. Sure, I can just jam this all in, but from early position, there's a lot of people behind me. It just looks really strong for me to raise here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, save my chips, just in case some people go all in behind me and give me a chance to fold. So I go ahead and raise it up to 80K. Only the big blind calls, and we flop middle pair. Not a great kicker, not a great spot, but with the action checking over to me, I still got a continuation bet here to keep the control of the hand, so I bet for 40,000, which is the minimum bet. The big blind makes a call, and we're going off to a turn card here. That doesn't change much. It's the deuce of clubs. Action checks to me, and now at this point, not really much I need to protect from. Sure, there are the queen jack, the queen 10, those kind of random holdings, but outside of that, there's not really a whole lot other things to be afraid of. If I'm behind an ace, I'm still behind. Don't want to blow the size of the pot against a hand like that. And more importantly, I just want to get the showdown. I check it back. The river card is... the queen of clubs falls off. And at this point, my opponent's thinking about it, and I see him gather some chips together, and he goes ahead and bets 105,000 chips. Yeah, a little bit worrisome, to say the least. I only have about 200,000 in my stack at this point, so that's half of my stack, and that's literally 2 big blinds, all I'll have left. If I'm wrong, I'll be auto put all in by the next time the orbit comes around, and hey, that's in 2 hands. I'm worried, I'm scared, but I'm gonna stick to my guns. If my opponent had a better hand than I had, I'd likely have heard from it at a different point in the hand. Sure, there's a chance he could have a king-queen, but 1, he'd probably put me all in if he had a pretty strong hand, and 2, I'd expect him to raise all of his aces all in pre-flop, knowing that I only have 10 big blinds to start the hand. All of that being said, I come to what I feel like is the right decision, and I make the call. Our opponent flips over 8-7 of hearts, and just like that, a massive pot to get us heading in the right direction almost immediately. Still not even 20 big blinds, but don't worry, the last 14 hours of my life have been spent in this zone. I feel comfortable here, less decisions to be made, and hopefully this is a sign of much more positive movement to come. To be honest, I'm kind of feeling myself. Sitting with 600,000 chips in front of me, I've just paid the blinds, which, yeah, 100,000 chips just to play the blinds. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. Anyways, action folds to me. I have queen 10 offsuit. I go ahead and make the raise here. Not a good hand, obviously, but as we mentioned, for me, it's really important to try to steal these blinds. It's over 100,000 chips. It's almost 20% of my current stack. So just stealing one of these blinds goes a long way. And luckily for me, not only do I steal one of the blinds, I steal both of them. As the big blind and the small blind fold, big pot, once again, they're huge. They make up a big portion of my stack. They're important, and they're heading me in the right direction. 2 hands down, 2 wins. I'm starting to feel the nerves settle. I feel great.
We look down at King Jack suited. I go ahead and make a small raise here, looking to steal the blinds. Worst case scenario with the small stack, we just have to fold, but luckily it won't come to that. This really weird and possibly unorthodox play is working out in my favor. I'm raising small here, getting people to fold without having to risk my entire stack. I'm loving it. Let's go. Everyone folds, pot being pushed my way. That's good poker.
I'm sitting on about 700,000 chips, which is good for, 15, 16 big blinds. Action folds to the small blind, and he limps in. I'm in the big blind, and I look down at ace 7 offsuit. We can go a couple ways with this hand. We can play it sneaky by checking it back. Maybe we can raise small or something finicky like that, and my opponent is left with an option if he wants to raise, if he wants to fold, or we can do the more aggressive option and push variance by going all in. Although I don't love this option all that often, what it does do is just kind of end the hand a lot of the time, and that kind of helps me for the current chip stack situation that I'm at. I don't have a lot of chips, and winning small pots goes a really long way because I don't have a lot of chips. Every time I win a pot, I immediately give myself over 100,000 chips. And in this case, I'd be giving myself 150,000 chips. So I go all in, and the opponent quickly folds. That's a massive pot. Again, I cannot stress it enough. That moves me from 700,000 to start the hand to 850,000, albeit 100,000 was just my big blind and my big blind ante, but still, I'm happy to take the pot down nonetheless. This next hand is an interesting one. Action folds to me on the button, and I raise pocket 7s off of 800,000 chips. Once again, I have less than 20 big blinds, and once again, I don't know what the perfect option is. I hate to come across as I know what I'm doing in poker because I feel like a lot of the time I really don't, but I'm actually looking for some constructive criticism. I feel like the easiest answer and what I think the right answer is just to go all in with pocket 7s. We can get called off by worse hands. 6s and 5s I think we'll definitely call, and we're definitely flipping against a lot of hands, which is like ace king, ace queen, king queen suited. A lot of those hands might just call off anyways, especially considering there's a bounty dynamic. But in my head, both the small blind and the big blind have me covered. I can't win a bounty if I go all in and get called and win the hand, which is a little worrisome. And these guys are just kind of playing a little crazy knowing that they could win a bounty off me. So all of that being said, I haven't won a bounty yet. I just really want to give myself a chance to draw one bounty. I just need one chance. I know I'll pull a million, so I just raise. I min raise it, and then the small blind tanks for quite some time. An Asian young pro gentleman from, I think China was it. He ends up going all in. Action folds to me after the big blind folds. And I'm just kind of hating life. Calling off with 7s is not fun. Jamming with 7s is so much easier. And that's kind of where the problem of this hand kind of happens. I'm disappointed because I know what the right thing was, I think. But I don't know. I don't know. And when I don't know, it's scary. And I think I don't know because I don't want to know. I know what the right thing to do is. It's just go all in from the button, and if he has a better hand, it sucks. It's not going to happen too often, but a lot of the times we're flipping, and it's just wherever the cards fall, they fall. And when I do something like this, I had a lot of variables that I can't really calculate for, and I'm just never going to call off with sevens here. So I don't know. Feels like I misplayed that hand, but hopefully we can learn from it and persevere forward. We're 3 for 3. We lose this fourth hand, so we're not 3 for 4, but that one's going to sting. That one hurt.
To this point, there has been a plethora of bust outs, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to do any
As you
debating
guys have
myself.
probably noticed by this point, I've adopted a different formula, and that's just been raising with my small stack. I don't want to put my entire stack at risk. I know people are willing to call off super light here, and I just don't want to take a 55, 45, or vice versa, me on the 40 side and them on the 60 side. I just don't want to take those slips or races. I just kind of want to take my chances. I folded hands like pocket 3s and pocket 5s because I just don't feel comfortable with those hands. I'm sitting on like 10 to 15 big blinds all day, and the last thing I want to do is get called and just have no shot, just have no hope. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way to think. Maybe I'm playing a little conservative, and that's kind of ridiculous hearing me say that because that's not really what I do, but hey, that's just poker sometimes. Anyways, I look down at ace 3 of spades, ace 3 suited. I go ahead and make a raise here. Once again, I'm just looking to steal the pot or play a pot in position against one of the blinds, but unfortunately the biggest stack at the table, the most aggressive player at the table, he's been going absolutely crazy. He 3-bets me to 375k. As you guys can see, I didn't start with many chips to begin with, so this is kind of an annoying spot where clearly I made a mistake. I think if I'm going to open this hand, the only sizing is all in. A lot of the other hands I can see where I'm coming from, but in a hand like this, I'm just so short, I'm so shallow. The best thing to do is just to go all in, remove all the indecision from the situation, get my opponents to call off with worse hands, or worst case scenario, they have kings. You know, that happens a lot of the times here and there, but pocket Hurons never let me down. They're going to help me when I'm against them. They're going to help me when I have them. And, you know, beyond that, we're going to have like 30% of a lot of the time. So it is what it is. I end up folding because I just can't call off for 70% of my stack or 60% of my stack with ace 3 high. Yeah, not great. Feels like wheels are slowly coming off the train, but I still feel really positive. I know that if I just bring my A game, if I can get this together, we can make a deep run. People are falling like freaking flies, and you could see it. Like, I'm already catching ladder and ladder and ladder. To come into today, I was only guaranteed a profit of $300, and at this point, I'm guaranteed a profit of over $2,000. Yeah, cashing out for over 3K total. This is a big deal for me, and I just got to stay focused. I got to get in it. I got to find my rhythm again. This is a really fun hand. Early position jams for less than what I have somehow, and I only have 10 big blinds. I think it's about 300k is what he jams for, and then next to act to him goes ahead and rejams. I'm to his left, and I look down at pocket 7s, and this is where for sure I think I'm a fish out of the pond or the tank or the sea or something. I think I'm supposed to fold in a regular tournament, but in a bounty tournament, because I do cover one of the bounties, I think I should call sometimes. I really don't know, and I'm bringing this question to you guys. Superstar, you guys are all chat pros. You guys know what you're doing, clearly. That's what you tell me, at least. Am I supposed to call off here sometimes? I really don't know, but in real time, I just feel like I'm going to be behind a lot of the times. I feel like when he rejams, he's going to have a lot of ace-king, best case scenario, and then he's going to have a ton of, I feel like, better pocket pairs, 8s, 9s, 10s, all rejam very comfortably there. So if that's the case, I don't think 6s are doing that all too often. Maybe, I don't know. The bounty dynamic changes so much, but in my head, I just feel like I gotta let it go. So I go ahead and do that, and I do get to see the hands. We do show showdown here. Ace 3 is what the opponent had in early position, and ace king is what the opponent had that rejammed. Obviously, we're in a really decent spot here. I don't know, we have like over 40% equity or something like that to win this hand, I feel like. But yeah, we wouldn't have won the hand. Ace king ends up taking that pot down. So results wise, we made the right fold, but I am genuinely curious. Is in a bounty tournament, am I supposed to call off there? And in a regular tournament, it's just a fold? I don't know. But once again, a couple of pots just not going my way. This would have been a really nice one if somehow I did call off and somehow I did win. But you know, what ifs are just irrelevant in poker because it just doesn't work that way. Like, it is what it is, and you got to live with the decisions you make. And today, I decided to fold the pocket 7s. Time is starting to wind down. Things are getting dire. I have 5 big blinds. The big blind is now 60,000 chips with the 60,000 big blind ante, and I'm sitting here with 310,000 chips. Yeah, not a lot. The blinds just passed me. To be quite honest, it's feeling a little dire. I feel worried. I need to see some good hands. Pocket 10s, That's a pretty good hand. Action folds to me. This is the sweetest spot I'm going to come across all day. I go ahead and jam the pocket tens. No other way to play. I won't min raise, I promise. Easy spot for us to go all in with 5 big blinds. Next to act, instantly rejams. So we're going to go off to the races, and you guys will see that now. Holy freaking crap, man. That is unbelievable. That's a huge pot going my way, and I realize it's not that many chips, but it's enough for me to get excited about. The over 150,000 in the middle just from the blinds, plus the massive double up, a pure double. We're sitting with almost 800,000 chips, which is peak for us in this tournament. Just in one swing of fortune, things can change so quickly. I'm very happy with that outcome, and that's a huge spot for us there. All right, we're doing our very best. I'm actually playing what feels like pretty decent poker outside of the couple funny things. What I mean by that is I'm pretty conscious of the things going on around me. I'm constantly looking at the ladder. I've found a way with 5 to 10 big blinds at most to find a ton of ladders. I entered the day middle of the pack, probably lower third of the field, and we've definitely had a bottom stack for a great deal of day 2, which has been the first few hours. But here I am in the top 500 people. 20,000 people signed up to play this tournament. 20,000. And I'm one of the final 500 remaining. That's like kind of nice. I worked really hard, and obviously fortune favors the bold, and I feel like we've done a good job of going for it in spots and kind of showing that I have a little bit of this conservative side, which is, again, not customary for me. All that being said, we found a way to ladder all the way up to over $3,500 in the bank. That is huge for me, and you guys don't understand. That money, although it won't change my life, it changes me mentally. I feel like that's a great way to start off the series, but it's not where I want it to end. I know that there's more to come. I know that today, this is just the beginning. I know that I have a lot more left in store. All it's going to take is a couple of good runouts. In this following hand, middle position super aggro player goes ahead and raises to 120,000, which is a min click. Action folds to me in the big blind, and I have king 9 offsuit. I go ahead and defend here. This could go either way, but sitting on about, I think I have 11.5 big blinds. Not the worst thing in the world. I go ahead and make the call. I can consider the stop and go play, which is when you flop some kind of equity on the board, you can go all in, or, you know, we don't make a pair and we just fold, or we make a really nice hand and we can trap. There's a lot of different options with this hand, and luckily when we missed a board, this is a super easy fold. Don't have to think about it too much, but the board is kind of a tricky one. The flop gives us a pair with a really great kicker, but there is an ace to follow. So ace 9 brick. You know, we're in this middling spot here where our hand is really strong, obviously, but not all that strong when there's an ace out there. Anyways, I check to continue playing in flow, and my opponent throws out a small c-bet. It's easy to lie to you guys and pretend like there's a lot of things that could happen, and I'm thinking on a different level, but I think this is the first time in a while where I think I did make a pretty graphic error. Not because of the play I make here in a few minutes, or a few moments I should say, but because I did something that I really don't like doing when I play poker, and that's like pre-thought out, predetermined decisions. I knew that if I flopped a pair, I was just always going to go all in. I mean, it would have had to be middle pair or better. I was never going to go all in with like on an ace queen 9 board or something like that. I knew that I had to make middle pair or better, and I was going to go all in with my short stack. I knew that I could put the pressure on my opponent if I did so, and I just kind of stuck to the plan, and I didn't even consider bailing on it, and that's kind of a little bit of a disappointment when I think like that. But again, in reality, I just feel like my opponent's not going to have an ace every time, and when that's the case, I just get called, you know, not too often, and I win a bunch of chips here, and I'd put myself in a decent spot to have nearly 20 big blinds if he just folds. And sometimes we get called by a better hand and we can suck out it, and sometimes we get called by a better hand and we're just drawing stone dead, and that's just poker. This time around, we go all in, and it's the ladder. Our opponent shows ace king. I'm sitting here with king 9 like a fool, looking for one of the 2 remaining 9s to give me a little bit of hope, to give me a chance to continue on in this tournament, to give me a chance at pulling $1 million bounty. Unfortunately, it's not to come. But yeah. The hardest part about any relationship is the part where you have to say goodbye. And the relationship I built with the mystery bounty today was a special one. It kind of felt like destiny to run deep, you know? I think everyone thinks that, but just bobbing and weaving the whole day, and eventually bobbed and weaved into the wrong spot. The most aggressive at the table picks up the best hand. That is how it goes sometimes. I'll be on the right side of these types of situations, but it's something really, really good to build off of. So I'm really satisfied with that much. Big cash for us there. I mean, relatively speaking, we were kind of into it for a little bit. I think we're in total into the World Series of Poker, or just the summer in general, for 2,600. So that cash of 4K puts us up on the series overall for 1,400. So that's really, really helpful to get us in the right kind of mind frame, get us in the right going. But for now, a lot to look forward to. I am going to take a few days off, have a golf tournament that I'm going to focus on now. So switching gears, but I just want to thank you guys for the support. These videos have been doing unbelievable, and it's making this so much easier to come out here and grind, because I feel like I've fallen in love again with making content, and just I almost feel like I was taking advantage of the fact that I was blessed with such an awesome community. So thank you to every single one of you guys that comes through and supports. I met so many of you guys down there in the ballroom. So feels good. I am happy, and that doesn't happen often after busting out a tournament. I'm very happy. I'm satisfied with my play for the most part, and more than anything, I feel blessed. Thank you guys.